Today guys, I have found a set of CBs that could be perfect for the mid-handicap golfer. Another direct-to-consumer brand that I've never heard of, and I actually found them on Instagram. I'm going to put them to the test today against my Takomo irons I'm currently using. We're going to go in the studio, get the numbers, but also see what flights and distances we get out here on the golf course. And the two clubs we're going to be testing right now are the two 4-irons from Toura Golf and from Takomo. We can see I've got a prototype iron from Takomo, a blacked out 301 CB, but let's put them to the test. Let's see what the differences are, and let's see if this Toura split set CB could be the perfect CB iron for the mid-handicap golfer. So again, first up I'm going to go with exactly what I know, which is my CB iron, which is the 301 from Takomo. Again, we know these are designed for the better player. We don't have a thick top edge. We have a good blade length, so plenty of face to hit. We have a nice thin top edge, and then we also know that from here we've got premium components. We've got your KBS shafts, we've got your Lampkin grips, and we know recently what kind of flight that has been producing. One just like that, a nice penetrating ball flight, no real movement on it, and a nice solid sound and a feel off that face. Feels nice and soft. How's the Toura going to compare? So first of all, the reason why I've suggested these could be perfect for the mid-handicap golfer is behind the golf ball. Straight away, we have a little bit of a thicker top edge. We still have a reasonable blade length, but then we also have a minimal offset. So a little bit of offset. So if you're somebody who loses the ball to the right, a little bit more offset can help you straighten it up. And also with that extra thickness, we're going to get a little bit more forgiveness, which is what every mid-handicap golfer is looking for. But again, down on this, for me, it looks a little bit better than the Takomo prototypes, which we are testing, which do have white paint in the grooves. These ones a little bit sleeker from the top. Again, all black, no white paint in the grooves. I certainly like that. A different ferrule on there. We know these clubs are very big in the custom build scene, and that's why we've got that nice traditional ferrule on there. But flight wise, a little bit lower, a little bit of better strike, still feels nice and soft. Very interesting because they have got similar lofts. Let's get down there and see for distance wise how it's performed. So up here in the fairway, nothing in them at all, so performing exactly like we'd expect. Both 4-irons, yes, 1 degree stronger from the Toura, and we can see we might have stalled maybe 1.5 yards, but nothing really in it. Let's now hit a mid-iron into the green. Let's start to see, just because they have that thicker top edge, they are a little bit more forgiving. Are we going to see a different ball flight? Is it going to be as easy to flight these in and get the ball close to the fly? Because again, the 8-iron is probably my favourite club, so we're going to find a distance around that and start to see how close we can get it. So par 3 now, we've got 150 yards to that flag, so it's not a full shot here, but this will be very interesting with this, because we know with the Touras are designed to be more forgiving. Is that going to affect the launch that we do get? Am I going to be able to flight this in and control on it? I know that I've been able to do that with the Takomos, so let's see. Again, corded grips, very similar to the Lampkin ones, but these are Toura's own grips. So making the heads, making the grips. And that felt fantastic. Little fade in there, straight towards the flag. Pretty much we'll zoom in shortly after, within probably 5 or 6 feet, and that's what I like to see. Again, an 8-iron is a club that I do enjoy. It is something I do feel confident with, and they're able to flight it straight away. I do have to say the feel off that club was absolutely fantastic, and that's exactly what I expect from my Takomos. I'm now expecting from the Toura. So again, price wise, a fantastic price, $800. Feel as good as your top brand, and that's where it's very interesting going into next year. I believe that a lot of the top manufacturers are looking at price and trying to bring it down to make it affordable for the everyday golfer. Right, so in with my Takomos. Again, one big thing I want to mention before is, again, turf interaction. For me, direct to consumer, I wasn't fitted. I've gone for the shafts that I've selected on their website. I've then gone for obviously the head that, yes, it maybe is a little bit more forgiving, maybe not directed at my kind of market or a single figure handicapper, but I don't know why not. With shots like that and a ground interaction, I'm able to get the shots I desire. So this is where, if you do know you're fitted, if you've been for a fitting and you know you're 1 degree up, you can also do that through both of these websites. So both direct to consumers, you can order them in your exact specs. Let's see now. Again, not the best of strikes there, fading a little bit. Middle of the green there with the Takomo, or just, well, the right hand side of the green, but middle wise distance, so distance wise good. Not as good as swing, but I still got the forgiveness from the Takomo, and that's really why I've enjoyed those Takomos. Even with an off-centered hit, I'm still getting a good distance. Poor swing from myself there, but I've still got on the green, I've still got a chance of putting. I put a better swing on the Toura, and we'll zoom in and show you where that is now before we put them to the test in the studio. So guys, we are putting these two to the test. So we know the Takomos are a prototype, a very similar finish to the Touras. But let's see the numbers. Obviously we know loft-wise they are very similar, but what's the golf song going to say? Are they going to go the same distance? Are we going to see the Touras maybe working a little bit more left because of that little bit of offset? And maybe the Touras go further on an off-centered hit. That's exactly what we're putting it to the test for now, because price-wise, we know pretty much identical. So we talked outside about obviously the looks down the golf ball. Yes, I do see that little bit more offset and I do see that thicker top edge, but on the longer stuff I don't mind that. Obviously when we're talking a CB, we're thinking, right, well yeah, it should be nice and sleek, but even in the longer stuff, every kind of golfer, whether you're a single figure handicapper golfer, a professional or a PGA pro like myself, or somebody who maybe has some CBs who's off between 10 and 15, you maybe do want to see that little bit more thickness on the top in your longer irons, because you know you've got that little bit more forgiveness and gives you more confidence. Again, Toura. Bullet straight there, felt absolutely solid off the face. I do really enjoy the feel. And to be honest, I'm probably better with the long irons at the minute than I have been with short irons. So 207 carry, gone 215. That was pretty much bang out of the middle of the club there. I couldn't hit that any better. Let's see if I can repeat that. Slightly off-centered hit, you can see. Caught the ground a little bit before, that's turned over. But 207 carry, turning it over has gone a little bit longer, 220. So certainly there off the off-centered hit, it's still got the distance. I know it was obviously turned over a little bit, but let's see. Another one here. That was hit pretty well. You can see even with the offset, I've left it a little bit out to the right. Another good strike, 204. So deviation on the carry there, we've got 3 yards. We've had 2 at 207, 1 at 204, and I would say extremely easy to hit. Tour average wise, they'd all be inside tour average, so I can't argue with that. Very forgiving. Feel fantastic for the price. And I know we keep mentioning price with these golf clubs, both the Toura and the Takomo, but very interesting this year. A lot of the big brands are trying to get their price down, much more towards this kind of iron, the direct to consumer, because they've realised that outpricing the everyday golfer. Not everybody can afford a £600 driver, an £1,800 set of clubs, so they're trying to come back towards the everyday person who plays golf maybe once a week. So in with the Takomo 4-iron now, straight away down there, and I'll put this on screen. You will see a little bit thinner top edge and a little bit less offset. Again, we know Toura have their own grip, so they have gone for a very similar looking grip to this cross-line lambkin. Shaft-wise, we've got an S300 in there. We do have the KBS Tour, both 120 gram shafts, so pretty much identical. Let's start to see feel and performance. Again, another solid strike there. If anything, a higher ball flight there with this 4-iron, so towering shot in there. 203 yards carry, stopped at 209. So again, that little bit more launch. Not what you expect maybe from a 4-iron and a longer iron, but I've not minded that flight. That's something that if I'm going into a long par 4 or a par 5, I've got the stopping power with both, which is again interesting. We can still get the launch depending on the swing we put on that golf club. Okay, so I did realise the golf stone won't pick the ball up if there's another one behind it, so let's go again. Right, a little bit thin there. That was more, again, my swing. Off-centred. Still carried 200 yards, so that was more of the bad shot that you would start to see. It's carried 200 yards, so I've lost around about 5-6 yards carry, but it's still gone out to 211, so it would still have caught the green, and that's the weak right one. I've not pulled that over. I've actually lost it a little bit to the right, so that's what I would like to see from this kind of iron, but feel-wise, both feel fantastic. For me there, again, another towering flight. Distance-wise, a little bit shorter, so 196 yards carry there, 202 total. That's, again, more my swing, starting to tire after all of 6 shots. Let's try and put a good swing on it. Let's take our time. Better strike there. Just a little draw to the left hand side. 203 yards carry, so again stopping at 211. So the two good strikes there were obviously very similar. So 203 going 209 and 211. So deviation good. But for me, I'm somebody who does sometimes lose the ball to the right. So maybe that little bit of offset, a little bit more, not too much more, could be beneficial even to my level. And this is where the ego chat comes into it. Does it have to be for obviously your higher handicapper golfers who really slice the golf ball? No, it could even be for myself, a PGA professional, who does lose a little bit to the right. Maybe that little bit of offset will straighten it up. Feel-wise, both felt exactly the same, identical. Again, price-wise, pretty much identical. Components, again, all premium. So we're starting to see a pattern here. Direct-to-consumer companies providing fantastic irons that are performing well. I could come in here and test those maybe against the premium brands, and I start to see very similar numbers. So very interesting there for performance-wise. So comment below, guys, what else you want to see. Do you want me to test these against the more premium brands? And we'll see you again tomorrow.